Nestled in the Arrochar Alps on Loch Long in the Scottish Highlands sits the village of Arrochar. It could be a haven for nature lovers, if not for one problem: plastic. The shoreline is covered in it.
We have millions and millions of pieces of microplastics. When the tide is out, we get kind of a microplastic sand just at the very head of the loch here, and when the tide comes in, it's more of a microplastic soup.
Plastic waste from around the world washes up here. Jacqueline Willis works for a local environmental group. Together with local residents, she regularly takes samples. The plastic is embedded in the landscape. Mixed with seaweed and algae, it's formed a thick layer, 1 meter deep, hundreds of meters long, along the shoreline.
This is all coming up the loch. It's coming down the river, up from the Irish Sea. It's coming from all over the place. It's carelessly discarded litter. It's ending up where it's not supposed to be.
Loch Long connects to the sea. Waste floats in with seawater and also flows from the nearby city of Glasgow. Hand collection doesn't go far. Heavy equipment is needed, but it's too costly for this small community.
The trouble is that we can't separate the plastic from the seaweed, from the wood, from everything else, so that it's just purely plastic that we're dealing with. It's the whole composite makeup of the material. We're suggesting
Arrochar lies at the very tip of Loch Long.
Higher structure.
From simulations that we've had done, it looks like it mostly comes up the east side of the loch.
Yeah,
so it's coming up the east side of the loch towards the surface of the water column, and then it's ending up here, and it's getting trapped up here.
Scotland's biggest city, Glasgow, lies about an hour upstream along the River Clyde. Authorities estimate it's the source of half the waste in Arrochar. The city has hired additional street cleaners and uses a boat to collect the worst of the river debris. Each day, Alan Swift and his colleague head out onto the Clyde. They can fill up to 10 floating containers a day.
It's mostly floating debris like the stuff that we've seen there, and cans, bottles, plastic. Some people still dump stuff in the river. We've had pianos at the river, so someone's carried a piano all the way and launched it into the river.
The cleanup boat also collects larger trash along the riverbanks. Alan says they've seen real progress. The Clyde is getting cleaner.
We're seeing a lot more kingfishers, otters, salmon, sea trout, porpoises, that kind of stuff. So maybe 20 years ago you wouldn't have seen these things.
But smaller plastic fragments slip through, floating down to Loch Long and Arrochar. The local primary school is right on the water. The children know the pollution all too well.
We used to play there and stuff, and now we can't because it stinks, and there's just hundreds of litters.
Sometimes we even take trips down to the loch to see what's actually happening, and if you step in, your foot will go down really far just in litter.
It makes me feel really angry and sad, because I live literally right next to the beach, and it just smells horrible, and from my house you can smell it, and it's it looks disgusting.
Loch Long's environmental activists are focusing on education. Jacqueline Willis visits schools, even in Glasgow. She explains to the children why avoiding single-use plastics and packaging matters. Meanwhile, locals have continued talks with Scottish authorities. There's now a glimmer of hope. A new research project is being launched to address the problem.
I get very depressed seeing it, but I also get really angry. It kind of needs government level solutions. You know, it needs big actions. It needs things like the deposit return scheme. It needs bans on certain single-use plastic items. You know, so it needs big solutions.
Against the Highland backdrop, Arrochara's plastic pollution is especially jarring. Nature's beauty has long been part of the region's identity and its livelihood, for now.